The final product for this video is a 2D Godot project with a tile map containing 16 by 16 tiles. The game has the common aspect ratio of 16 by 9. It's 320 pixels wide and its height is 180 pixels. These dimensions are scaled up to 1280 by 720 when the game is launched. The game will preserve its aspect ratio when scaled to full screen. Let's start from scratch by downloading Godot from godotengine.com. Godot is available for free for any platform. Once downloaded, launch Godot for the first time. Click Cancel for the Asset Library prompt, click New Project, create a folder called Godot in your documents. Inside the Godot folder, create a new folder called Basic Setup Project. Click Select Current Folder. Name the project Basic Setup. Select Create Folder. Observe that our folder setup is Documents, Godot, Basic Setup Project, Basic Setup. Click Create and Edit. Open File Explorer. And see that we have a Basic Setup Project folder inside the Godot directory. Inside the Basic Setup Project folder is a folder called Basic Setup. Inside of Basic Setup, we can see all the files that Godot has generated. Click 2D in the top center of the screen. Click Other Node. Double-click Node from the list. Rename the new node to Main. Ctrl S to save the scene. Name the scene main.tscn. Click Save. Our scene file now shows up in the Files area. Preview the game by clicking the Play button. On first launch, select the default scene for the game. We select the main.tscn file as the default. Our game displays an empty screen at the moment. Exit the window and right-click the main node. Click Add Child Node. Search for tilemap. Press Enter to select a tilemap node from the list. Open a pixel editor. Here, I'll use Asprite to design a basic tile for our tile map. Create a 16 by 16 white tile. Place a light gray border on the right and bottom edges. Name the file whitetilegrid.png. Save the file inside the Basic Setup folder with the other Godot files. Switch back to Godot and observe that our image now shows in the Files area. With the image selected, click Import. Uncheck the Filter option, and click Re-import to ensure that our tile is not blurry when shown in our game. With the tile map selected, add a new tile set to the tile map. Select Cell and set the size to be 16 by 16. Click on the newly created tile set in Properties. In the bottom left of the window, click the plus, select our tile image, click Open. Zoom in with the plus button in the top right of the area. Click New Single Tile. Click the icon to turn on the snap grid. Click the tile. Observe that the bounding box is too large. In the properties on the right, click Snap Options. Set the snap to 16 by 16. Click the trash can. Click New Single Tile. And click the tile again. Click Tile Map in the scene tree. Observe that we can paint tiles into the scene. Preview the game with the Play button. Observe that the tiles render small. Click Project in the top left. Scroll down to Display Window. This game will use a 16 by 9 ratio, which is a very common ratio. So multiply the width by 20. Multiply the height by the same factor of 20. 320 by 180 is the true pixel dimensions for our game. We want the game window to render larger than that. Enter 1280 for test width and 720 for test height. When the game window changes size, our game should scale and preserve its aspect ratio. For mode, select 2D, and for aspect, select Keep. Preview our game again and observe the tiles are now larger. Close the preview. Zoom into the tile map with the mouse scroll wheel. Hold spacebar and click and drag to pan the scene. Hold Shift, click, and drag to draw straight lines of tiles. Observe the size of the game view is indicated by a faint blue line. Once the outline of the scene is drawn, fill in the center by selecting the paint bucket icon and clicking the scene. Switch back to the pen tool once the map is filled before we forget. In tilemap properties, click Visibility. Set the color to a green color with low saturation. Observe that our tile map now looks like grass. Click the right mouse button when over the tile map to erase tiles. Click the left mouse button to add tiles. Preview the game and observe that our tile map renders as a set of green 16x16 pixel tiles. Our Godot project basic setup is now complete. Let's add some text to our game. Right-click the main node. Click Add Child Node. Select Label. Drag and resize the label node into the center of the tile map. Enter basic setup as text for the label. Align the text in the center horizontally and vertically. Preview the game to observe that the text looks small and blurry. Visit Google Fonts with a web browser. Search for round. Select Varela Round. Click Download Family. Extract the font file. Copy the font file into the Godot project files. Switch back to Godot and observe that the font file now shows in the Files menu. Select Label, select Custom Font, click New Dynamic Font, click Font, select Load. Choose the font file we just downloaded. Under Settings, set the font size to 42. Position the font roughly in the center of the tile map. Preview the game for a final time. This is a great start for a 2D project in Godot. Find videos that build on this project in the description.